Greetings, this is your host, Reigning Queen Goddess, and thank you for tuning in to Sacred, Sexy, Sensual Spirit, where we are honoring sexuality and spirituality as one and balancing the energies of both in a beautiful, complementary fashion. So stay tuned.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so today we're doing an interview with Nicole the Pole Williams, and I just want to give you a chance to introduce yourself. Let us know who you are.
Well, I'm known mostly for being a professional pole dancer and instructor. I'm also a certified life coach and a personal trainer. My actual background starts in fitness, and then I kind of fell in love with pole dance. And a lot of people know me from some popular music videos and from some TV. I did the Rihanna Pour It Up, Cardi B Money, Neo She Knows, Bruno Mars Gorilla, like a lot, like pretty much any video you've seen with pole dance, most likely 80% is me in there.
Well, that's something I didn't even know about you. So, I mean, that's interesting. And lots of accolades I see in creative work in the industry, I see. Beautiful.
Yeah. Yep. Been on Ellen even, teaching Lonnie Love how to pole dance.
Well, look, you're getting them to tap into their inner goddess and tap into all that love energy that they need to have for themselves. So it's needed.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
How did you start your journey?
I actually went to a random house party one day, and somebody had set up a pole. Back then, in that time, this was 2007, so at that time, I had the same thought that most people had, which is, oh, my goodness, somebody set up a stripper pole. And there were two girls there that that started doing tricks, and then I was like, oh, you got to show me, because for me, it looked like, you know, flipping and like gymnastic-y, so that was always kind of like just a pull for me. So I was like, show me some moves. So they showed me 3 tricks, honey, and I thought I was the bomb after that. And then I got my own pole. I remember being like addicted just in that one night, and I got my own pole probably like some months later, and I started teaching myself literally in my living room and would improve each day. And the thing that I fell in love with was, you know, if I looked up YouTube videos of, I think I probably looked up stripper dancing back then. Pole dancing wasn't a term.
Right.
And I started seeing other people who were doing it, like in their garage or at home, and I started watching their videos and mimicking what I saw, and I started teaching myself that way. And it was fun because I realized I wasn't sexy at all. So the thing that made me so addicted was it taught me to be feminine, and it taught me how to move my body in this new way that I was very unaccustomed to.
Gotcha. So would you say growing up you were more of a tapping into the feminine side? You pretty much saying like you were able to embrace that side as you got older. So were you more like because me myself personally, I'm more like a tomboy. Whenever I was younger, I ran with the football field in the country. We played football in the field and stuff like that. So I had to tap into my feminine energy when I became a teenager. So how was that for you?
Total tomboy. I grew up around all boys for cousins. Like even just this past weekend, I was at the park throwing the football around. Like that was the most fun thing to me. But pole dancing, I didn't start till I was 27. So literally 27 as the time where I started tapping into this feminine side of myself and, you know, trying to be sexy and learning how to move my hips. That just was not something that I ever looked into or cared about necessarily. You know, I knew how to do my little 2-step. If there was a dance breakout, I wasn't dancing. I was doing spider push-ups. I had my leg over my arm doing an athletic move. You know, I'm the athlete. But now people think I'm sexy, which is so funny to me still.
Oh my God! So that's gonna help a lot of women that feel like they just don't have this feminine thing, even though we were born with boobs and vagina.
Yeah, you can learn it. Like seriously, you can learn it. Like
exactly. That's beautiful. So how do you use dance to move through sexual blocks and sexual trauma? And how do you incorporate that into your own self-healing?
Well, one of the things a lot of people may not know is we hold a lot of sexual trauma in our hips. which can cause a lot of tightness and inflexibility. So learning how to move in a sensual way actually helps to release some of that stored up pain and energy that's sitting there. I actually did about like an 8-week course with a private teacher, like on sex and sex release and stuff. And I remember she had me doing these hip movement exercises, and she was relating back to me how that release stuff. And I remember in one session, like she held me and I just cried. It was just from all the work that we were doing, and I didn't even know that stuff was in there. But if I look back at my past, there's been a lot of things that have happened where, of course, that's still sitting in my body if I haven't addressed it yet. So when I teach classes, there's always this freeness that people feel. I have people that tell me they feel connected to their body again, that they feel tapped into this side that they've hidden, or that they've been told, you know, you can't be this way, or you can't do that, or you can't show yourself. So a lot of women are very restricted and don't necessarily know that they are. They think that they're doing the thing that is right. But there is no right. There's you being you and you being able to express that through movement. If you look at any style of dance, there is sensuality to most styles of dance. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when people think of the pole, now they for some reason make it bad. But I'm like, we're doing the same movement, just with an apparatus. Yeah.
So how do you, speaking of you said you had a moment where you were with an instructor and she was teaching the hip movements and how to move through different blocks. How do you personally connect with women who need to move through sexual traumas and who seem to have a little withdrawn sexual nature or sexual expression? How do you get them out of that space when you're working with them?
I just teach them that you're learning how to move, right? So don't come in expecting to be perfect. I help them with their wording. So a lot of times, like the first thing a person may say is, I'm not sexy. I don't know how to move. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be able to do that. And so the first thing I start with is with their language. So they cancel that out and start to say, I do know how to move my body. I am sexy. I am beautiful. So we start there. Change your language. Now let's think of the movement as a learning process. There's steps to it, right? So the way you see me doing it, I've been doing it 12 years. So, of course, it looks a little better. But let me show you this video from when I first started. You know what I mean? And yeah, I think it helps, too, when people can see where you come from. So I'll show people my videos from when I first started so they can see the awkwardness. And I let them know that the awkwardness is just you learning. You'll get comfortable. You'll feel confident as you no longer have to think about each movement, right? So, for instance, if, you know, you want to learn how to play the piano, when you first start, it's nothing, you don't have a song yet, but you just keep working on the little keys and the tones, same thing with your body. You start practicing the movements. You do it 50 times, 100 times before it looks good. And then once you start to see yourself, I take videos of my clients. When they see back what they're doing, what they thought looked bad actually looked 10 times better. And that's my favorite part of teaching, people to see themselves. They thought they looked crazy, but they actually looked really sexy. They actually, they look back and they're like, oh, my God, that's me?
That's one thing.
And so that opens up confidence when they see that.
That's one thing I learned from you and watching. I connected with you through your Instagram page. And one of the things that drew me to your page, I know you get a lot of people that just follow you because of the pole dancing, but it was your personality, actually seeing your personality come across and you being fun, like a very approachable person, but still in your own little world doing your own damn thing. That's what was like, oh, damn, that is, like, you know what? Because before, I will say I was one of the people that was a little bit withdrawn when it comes to getting, like, maybe 14 years ago, I was very sexually withdrawn in my sexual expression and sexual nature, and I didn't feel like I wanted, like I knew how to just open up and let people see me. And when I see that part of you, it all the social, societal stigmas that are associated with all these things that are really things that help us in the healing modality form. I was able to see it in a different light, in a different perspective, and I think that's why it's beautiful that you have different healers like yourself that are out in the community doing their own thing, but actually living their life, but sharing their journey. And the transparency that you show in your journey is very beautiful because, like I say, I've watched you and watched you grow. I haven't watched you from the beginning since like 14, 15 years ago because I just started following you like maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years now. But I do know I appreciate what you bring to the community, and I love the way you connect with women, just on the personal side, and I'm looking forward to working with you one day, and you know, in a private session or group sessions or something like that. We're able to, I can see what it's like to have the experience of having your class and having you teach me how to move through stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to ask is, how do you connect? Well, not how do you connect, but how does your sacred work play out in your love life? Like, does it cause any interference, or does it make it flow easier, or you're just so grounded in your self-love? I'm
grounded in my sexuality in the sense of I know what I want, and I think that also comes to if you're sexually, you know, molested, or, you know, there's this sexualness that happens around you at an early age, yes, that's a negative, but there's also a positive if you learn, because you learn what feels good at a very early age, right?
Right.
Even though you may be experiencing something that you don't feel is right, you still know what feels good. So I feel having experiences at a young age, you know, with cousins, you know, touching on you and things like that, I knew it felt good to me early. So later on, when I got to enjoy that actually as an adult, I feel like I know more about my body because I know what pleasure feels like for me. And that allows me to tap into that space more than somebody that maybe hasn't had any good sexual experiences, or somebody that it happened something to them really young and now they've cut that part of themselves off. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I am able to create a lot of sexual energy because I know what to ask for to please myself in a way to where I can build up all this, you know, this energy in that sexual chakra. So sex for me can be it's almost like it can be a lot of energy ball. I also have to be careful with the partners that I pick to make sure that they can actually handle all of that energy. You know, that's a thing.
I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, and then you have to learn how to, like, as for myself, you can't just give it all off because, you know, the guy orgasm in 5 seconds. So you have to learn how to manage.
Right.
And not just be given so much. You gotta make it flow. You gotta put it out and you gotta pull it back in and all that stuff. You gotta manage it.
I think that's so important for women to realize. Not just people in general, but I really think women have a hard time with that, understanding the universal law of reciprocation. Like, we're such givers by nature. Receiving, even though we're supposed to receive, a lot of times we feel like, oh, we make excuses for not receiving. And really, the universe reciprocates in everything. There's an action for everything that's done. I mean, you plant a seed, you reap a harvest. Now, what kind of seed you plant determines what type of harvest. So I really see how the whole process of just being grounded and knowing yourself is, you know, one thing that you have to be aware of and know that everybody else may not know you. And so I've learned that you cannot expect anyone to give anything that you're not giving yourself, and you can't expect anyone that's not giving themselves something to give you something that you're expecting them to give that they don't know how to give. So,
and that you don't know how to ask for. You have to ask for it. If you don't articulate what you want, you're really saying you don't want it. Like, that's self-love is being able to say, this is what I need in this moment. That's self-love, even if it feels uncomfortable.
Right. One of the things that I teach the women in my class and just that I come across in sessions, I teach them to know and understand that you deserve pleasure in every area of your life. So that means financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, sexually, whatever area you do in your mental peace of mind, you deserve pleasure. And a lot of women have gotten away from knowing what it is to receive and actually be in a flow of receiving pleasure and receiving those things that they need in different areas. Like, they'll compensate in this area, then this area is lacking, and it's like, oh, well, I just don't deserve it, or I'm not worthy, or I've tried for years. And, you know, it takes a bit of shadow work and just working through it. And I would like that pole dancing to me is a lot like shadow work, because you're taking them into a place where they got to pretty much expose themselves and, you know, be very transparent with their spirit and their sexuality, and that builds their spirit. So I think it's beautiful what you do.
Yeah, it really does. Like, and there's so many ways you can move sensually. You know what I mean? There's people that are actually trained dancers who just move completely different than I do. I'm athletic,
right.
and you can see so much of someone's personality in how they move or in how they don't move. You know what I mean? And there's parts of me that I actually like to keep a little messy because I want to be more relatable to the average woman. I don't care about pointing my toes. I don't care if you don't like the way my lines look. You know what I mean? Because I'm not the type of dancer you are. So I love to be relatable because people, even now, they see me. They think I'm so perfect and amazing. I'm like, I can show you somebody else that's 10 times better than what you think that this amazingness is, but it's all relative. You know what I mean? I'm amazing at what I do because I've perfected the movements that I do. I make it look simple and easy because it is simple and easy now, but it didn't used to be, you know? And that transfers through all areas of life, how you are sexually, how I am in business. The confidence that you build in one area can help to, you can transfer that to other areas of your life. And that's the beautiful thing about tapping into your sensuality, because if you have power there, then you have power in other places.
Right. One of the topics that we're getting into this week, introducing the show, is just teaching people and helping them understand that sexual energy and creative energy is really the same exact thing. And a lot of people feel like it's not, but you can't have a spirit unless two people come together and have sex. Open up the portal so the spirit can come through. So sexuality and spirituality are one, and creativity is all in that same manifestation bundle. So the fact that you are using your creative, unique imprint and essence to be able to manifest these different dances and help women move through different traumas and just reconnect with their womb and, the sensuality and sexuality, that's very powerful, very powerful. I have no words for how amazing that is. It takes a person of your caliber just to be able to connect. Everybody can't do what you do. Let's just be honest. I mean, people to do what you do, but they're not you. You teach people to tap into themselves, like to your divine, unique spirit and imprint, and flow, and let your sensuality come out in your dance. So a lot of people can't do that, and I think the fun-spirited, approachable part of your personality is one of the things that just makes it easy to resonate. Yeah, easy to resonate and relate to you. It's like, oh, I can do that too because I'm a goofy person. I'll get in the mirror. I do mirror work. I'm in the mirror and I'm like just doing all type of with all my roles and everything out, and I'm just like feeling myself. But I
tell my clients to do that. Like I have, girls that come in, they think they big girls. I'm like, girl, you better use that fat to wrap around the pole. Like you're not playing here, okay? I help women embrace wherever they are. Like if you're not loving where you are now, you're not likely to make a change because you already have this self-defeat talk going on. So if you're judging what you look like now, which is talking down to yourself, I tell people this: the way you talk to yourself, would you talk to your child that way? Would you talk to somebody else that way? And then I ask them, why wouldn't you? Because it would hurt their feelings. And if you hurt their feelings, are they likely to do anything about it? No. I said, so what makes you think you're going to do anything differently then? You can't talk bad about yourself and expect yourself to then change and make results.
Exactly. So it's very powerful that you say that you pretty much approach the mental in the women, because everything, I always teach people that transformation begins in the mind. If you can change your mind, change, for one thing, change is your best friend. And if you allow change to be your best friend and go through the process of change, change will bring some beautiful things into your life and cause some beautiful growth. However, most people have, this side of their mind full of impossibilities rather than possibilities. So I think it's very powerful that you understand that the mental birth begins in the mind.
And then what you say, that language right after, what your thought is, and then your language, and then your body, then the action.
Yes. So we're hearing being an ongoing process. How are you moving through current times and staying grounded in your?
The thing that is keeping me sane is making sure that I have connection. So talks like this, doing Zoom calls, I'm rereading right now, The Celestine Prophecy, and it's so funny that I'm literally sitting on my couch and I'm looking at my bookcase and something said, grab the book. And I was like, I already read that book. I was like, I don't know if that's the book right now. And something said, grab the book. And I grabbed the book and I start flipping through and I start seeing all these notes. And I'm like, wow, from 2006. And the things that I'm saying at 26 in 2006 is that I want to help transform people's lives. I want to teach people this knowledge that I'm receiving. I want to help people heal. And this book is talking about all these changes in this new wave of, new wisdom and spirituality. That's what the book is literally talking about. And I read that back in 2006, but it's literally talking about the time that we're in now, which is tapping into your spirituality and not being caught up in, the religious dogma that tells you more of what you're not supposed to do and create fear. And fear is not how you're supposed to live your life, because we already see right now what fear is doing. And so, you know what I mean? Like, even with everything going on, like I got a little stressed out a few weeks ago because I was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Around money and bills and then I sat in the fact of I'm supported and got my extensions on all my bills. And I'm like, there's nothing really to worry about. Like, you can't get kicked out your apartment right now. You can get extensions and defense on all your bills. Just leave the rest to God. Like, just know that God's going to supply you with abundance when this is over. Like, don't worry about it. Like, something's going to happen. Not everybody ain't going to get kicked out on the street. Like, that's just impossible. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not going to happen. So we going to figure it out. But the thing is, stop stressing about it now, because you're not going to figure it out. We're not that bright. As human beings, we're really not. That's why you got to surrender over all the extra thoughts.
It's all right. Stress and anxiety is fear of the future or something from the past reoccurring. And we're just
trying to figure out some stuff you don't even be thinking about.
We've all just been completely just in a whole other space and forgot all about the present moment and how to be present. And I think that's what this whole quarantine taught a lot of people, how to be present and reconnect with themselves and tap in the spirit and just take a breather. Understand that it's okay to breathe. It's okay to enjoy yourself.
And connect with people.
Yes, to stay connected. Connect with yourself, and the spirit gives you things. I'm a strong believer that spirit knows that the mind can't conceive, and spirit, when you allow yourself to flow in spirit, will move through you and balance the energies of each chakra as needed. In each season, everything that you need, you have everything you need that's already inside of you. It's just a matter of going through a journey, a process, and birthing it sometimes. And most importantly, it's, just allow yourself to enjoy your journey and know that healing is an ongoing process. And
don't try to rush it.
Somebody else. Do your own pace. Be at your own little pace. Like, even if it seems like you've been doing the same stuff, look, just breathe and allow yourself to be you. So I appreciate you for being you and showing up as a great transformational healer in the community. And how can women reach you for private sessions or group sessions and work with you?
My Instagram is Nicole the Pole. My email is info@NicoleThePole.com. As also, you can contact me about coaching. My coaching page on Instagram is Nicole the Soul Coach. They both rhyme, Nicole the Soul, Nicole the Pole. I am available for coaching and virtual pole lessons right now. So if you want to get coaching on stuff in your life or even coaching around movement, personal training, I'm available for all of that. I also have instructional videos that you can order. So if you want to practice at home, if you have a pole, or if you just want to learn sensual dance movement, like things you can do sexy for yourself, or if you have a boyfriend or, a casual sex partner or a husband, I can teach you some things to do for him or her. You know what I mean?
Okay.
All of that.
All of them together. I'm in Georgia and you're in California, so it's awesome to hear. And I know my audience is going to be very excited to hear that you offer virtual pole classes.
And dance. Yep.
And dance, honey. So we pretty much need a pole, I know, right? For
pole, you need the pole, but for the sensual dance lessons, you don't need that. All you need is floor space.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay. Well, this has been a very enlightening segment, and I appreciate you and just taking the time to connect with me and share your gifts and everything that you're doing in the community. I want to tell you personally, I appreciate you and women like you, because we are right now the pioneers for our generation. We are now the matriarch, so we have to be the ripple effect in our lineage and change whatever blocks and generational curses. And I thank you for teaching women how to move through these sexual traumas and any generational blocks and stuff that may have come from days of old family, childhood, and stuff like that. I appreciate you so much for that.
Thank you so much, and I acknowledge you for creating a platform like this that allows us to do this work, and that's what it's literally all about. That's why we went through everything we went through, so that we could create transformation and healing around it for the other people. You know what I mean?
Yes,
that's what it's all about.
Yes, I always say that everybody, when you meet, is your beautiful reflection. So it's up to you if you see them as a beautiful reflection, or if you see them anything less or anything higher, that has nothing to do with them personally. That's some insecurities and some self-shadow work that you need to do with yourself. So I appreciate being able to connect with you and have you see me as your beautiful reflection. I appreciate you being my beautiful reflection as well. Divine Empress. A pole
that's beautiful.
Yes, Nicole the Soul Coach.
Hey now.
Yes. Well, I thank you so much, and we're going to conclude this. Anything else you would like to share, or any last words that you would like to leave? Anything that Spirit may be giving you to give the audience?
The Spirit is telling me right now is just to speak positively over your life, and how you can. One of the ways you can do that is write a list of everything that you don't like. What do you know you don't want? And then I want you to turn every single one of those statements into a positive affirmation. So if you're like, I don't like the way my body looks right now, you're going to turn that into, I love the way my body looks right now. If you're not happy with what's going on financially, I want you to say, money is coming to me from known and unknown sources. and just start changing how you say things. Like I wake up and say things like this on the daily, and things just come out of thinner, literally. But it's because I spoke it. Don't worry about where it's going to come from. Just say it's coming to me from known and unknown sources. Things are showing up in my life that are just surprising me and blowing my mind.
Yeah, you know what? I'm on the same wave. I have been okay. As soon as I've been really working on self-discipline. So as soon as I get to a place where I feel like I want to get into that complaining, everybody's flesh. So if everybody's talking about, I have to dismiss and cast down negative thoughts all day, people. This is life.
But you got to flip them. You got to flip them into that positive statement.
Right, standing in authority. So I really know what you mean when it comes to just keeping head in the game and keeping that positive energy going. And it starts with you. So get in the mirror in the morning and say, hey, I'm great. I'm awesome. I'm a great force to be reckoned, because your blessings will come. And manifestation, people don't understand that we all have the gift of manifestation. It's not some taboo, random spiritual gift that certain people are deemed with. We all have the gift of
everybody has it.
How are you using it? Are you manifesting things consciously into your life with intention that you want to bring into your life, or are you manifesting things unconsciously that you don't want into your life? So be aware of faith and fear is the same thing. It's just a matter of which one you're leaning towards. It's what's going to shift your whole outcome. Yep. In your present moment is where you are present right now, and the energy that you put out now will manifest in the future. So just stay in that energy, like Nicole is saying, and make sure you stay positive.
That's right.
Yes. Well, I thank you so much. I appreciate you again, and we will be in contact. Thank you so much. Hope to have you on the show again.
I love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Have a wonderful rest of the day. And everyone else out there listening, have a beautiful day.
Yes, thank you, Nicole.
All right. Bye.
Greetings, gods and goddesses. This is Nikki Jones, a.k.a. Reigning Queen Goddess, stopping by to invite you to check out my 12-week intensive Sacred, Sexy, Sensual Spirit. An intensive that focuses on combining the aspects of sexuality and spirituality as one, learning how to include self-love practices, body positive, mirror work, orgasmic manifestation, cutting cords, sex magic, divine unions, sacred sex, ceremonial worship, and the sacred art of spiritual fluidity, and balancing all these aspects as one. If you are interested, please send me an email to sacredgoddessesoasis@gmail.com, and see you there.